Welcome back to Andertons TV, everybody. Today, myself and Mr. Pete are showing you, for the first time ever, the new HeadRush Prime.
Holy smoke, man.
Okay, so this is the new HeadRush Prime. This is the first time Pete and I have got to see it. We're using version 3.1.0, which is the very first version that this is launching with. We've had a little 10-minute run through with someone at HeadRush, but this is very much about us exploring it and getting into it.
Yes.
Use the timestamps below because there's lots of features. This might be a slightly longer video, so you might just want to go to a particular element of this and hopefully that'll be in the timestamps. To put this in its sort of... Now, HeadRush have had a big board like this before. In fact, I think the very first entry into the market was this big board.
That kind of size, yeah. Absolutely.
More recently, MX5 by HeadRush was the first time I think Pete and I ever really went, actually, there's some good sounds in here. And we really, really like the operating system on HeadRush.
Yeah.
It's got this fabulous kind of drag and drop, very simple touch screen on here, which makes it fairly
super
unique.
easy.
One of the features on here, which I've never seen on a board before, is the idea of a microphone input with a full suite of Antares auto-tune for sort of doing harmonies and pitch correction and stuff like that.
Doesn't Helix have that? Have a full fat Helix has got a microphone input in it.
Yeah, microphone input,
it doesn't have auto-tune
with Antares in it, no.
This is much more geared for both, isn't it? Yeah.
It's got some cool wireless connectivity. It's got a cool practice tool in it. It's got Looper built into it.
Bluetooth.
It can clone.
The problem is, Ahsoka Tano is no longer a Jedi. Hasn't been for some time.
Full Star Wars style Clone Wars, so perhaps separates it from something like Helix now in that, you know, very much it can do the whole profiling, whatever, capture, whatever everybody wants to call it. What you heard Pete play there was just simply the first patch. So the first part of this demo, I really just wanted to just scroll through, say, the first 10 patches. Well done to HeadRush for making the patches sound quite good and also showing a variety of different types of guitar players, not just 10 full-fat high-gain sounds. So first and foremost, let's move on to the next patch.
Sounds nice. Stereo reverb makes everything sound better.
And I'll talk, don't worry, at the end of this, I'll talk you through essentially what's going on the screen.
What have we got here?
Tread lead. Super delay.
Super delay. Nice. And you're hearing this, by the way, straight into the Apollo interface in our control
Just
room.
these two XLRs straight in.
Excellently. And what have we got here? Super lead drive. Yeah, give me some. Oh, that's nice and. DC snitch.
I don't know what matchless DC.
Yeah,
30
could
maybe
be
something like that.
Thief. What is it called? Thief.
Could be. Everybody's favourite Fender amplifier.
That's nice.
So look, we could do this all day because there are loads and loads of different presets in
Hundreds
here.
and hundreds.
So let's just go back to, it doesn't really matter which one. In fact, what is useful in here is perhaps to show you, for no real reason, because other than it's a simple one, I've chosen patch number 6 on here. So the basic concept here, guitar goes in where the little guitar icon is. Actually, if you touch that as well, you've got some noise gate options in there as well. It shows you a pedal board, it shows you some amps, it shows you some cabs, and it shows you some more effects. And essentially, you can move, anything you want from one position to another.
So easy.
You can drag them off of you see there at the bottom. I've got to be careful with my hand here as I touch them.
Careful with your hand.
You can see as I touch it now and move it, it says drag here to delete. Again, if I just dragged it down there, it would delete that. And if I use one of the empty blocks and press plus, I can add another effect in there. I think that's one of the things that makes HeadRush, this operating system, so immediately intuitive. That's the word.
Good word.
What I also like on the big unit, which I don't recall if the smaller MX5 does this, but if I hit a pedal, you'll see again I can switch it on and off here. If it's lit up, it's on. If it's greyed out, it's off.
Yeah.
But down the side here are my controls for that pedal. And whichever one of these 3 controls that it's lined up next to will adjust that. So for example, tone, how if I go up here, you'll see that now does the next one. If I'm going, actually, I just wanted to adjust this bottom one. It's just very, very intuitive.
Simple.
Very quick to go to the next one. And again, you can then adjust, etc. the next pedal.
Yeah.
So that was its simple kind of, like a regular guitar chain would be. Guitar goes in the front of some pedals through an amplifier and then through some more effects. The reason I wanted to show you one of the other patches on here, so we don't want to save that, is you can also see it's very, very simple to do split signal chains as well. So this particular one now has got 3 pedals assigned that would be common to both rigs. Then it splits it into 2 stereo rigs, and then it sums it back into mono again to go through a volume pedal. And actually just down here are your basic paths that you can choose to assign pedals to.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought that was clever. The first thing that I said that perhaps we could do would just be to make a patch. Right?
Yes, so, please, let's make a stereo patch with 2.
You want to go?
Why not? Just having,
Fine, you had to choose a complicated one, didn't you? But look, it's fine, it's a challenge. So I press the plus button. We're now going to make one.
Okay.
The first thing I've obviously got to do, if you don't want it to just be the straight path, is choose the middle split or immediate split, or just have 2 completely discrete paths all the way through. So I'm guessing you want this middle split.
Let's try that, yeah.
Okay, those eagle-eyed amongst you will have seen some of those paths had a microphone in them as well, and of course you need to select one of those if you want to use your microphone simultaneously. I'm guessing what we probably want to do, why don't we do like a stereo amp mix, so we'll have some regular pedals at the front. Yeah. So I guess my first thing is I'm going to press the plus and I'm going to say I would like an amplifier, please. We've got 2 banks here, some HeadRush ones and Revalver ones. Do you know what, I'm not entirely sure I'm familiar with what Revalver is, but there we go. Is that because they're... No, I don't know. It's lots of similar looking ones. Again, pass there. But what do you want to do? You want to try and do a Fendery Blackface Deluxe, something like that?
Anything, make a big sort of lovely, clean-ish sort of...
In the global settings, I've set the mode to auto-select an appropriate cab for each amp that I do. So that's why you can see it's filled in the head and the cab. You can switch that off if you want to, or just manually go through and choose your own cab.
If you want a 4x12.
So again, you can see down the side here are my settings for the amplifier. If you would prefer for a different visual way of seeing that and some more controls, you can double tap on it and it takes you into a slightly more detailed kind of display. So we'll add an amp on the other side. Do you want something sort of similar, kind of
maybe a JTM 45 or something?
A JTM 45. Oh, there you go, J45. Let's see what that is. Obviously, this particular patch is summing everything back into the same signal chain. I can elect to pan side A and side B differently if I want to here.
And then you put the reverb on that.
I would put the reverb. Well, it's up to you. You've got blocks here where you could put a different reverb on each amplifier. I suspect you probably wouldn't. I suspect you'd have one main reverb, wouldn't you?
Well, you would have reverb on reverb.
I would have reverb on reverb.
Absolutely.
So let's put a little bit of. Do you know what? I'm going to make this relatively simple. Otherwise, we are going to be here all day. So let's have a long modulated reverb. Or maybe not. That was a terrible choice.
No, it's good, man. I like that.
So if I double click on that, I can then just
go back.
I don't have to delete it and then replace it. I can just. Let's have an air reverb, church. So this is all super intuitive because I'm now on the slightly more detailed screen. I'm not using these 3 knobs down the side anymore. I'm literally just dragging and dropping where I want the reverb to be. So I'm going to drop the mix down a little bit, keep the trails on. You know what? It doesn't really matter what this ends up sounding like. It doesn't matter! I'm just simply showing you how quick and easy it is to add stuff in. And then we might have an overdrive pedal here. So let's just do, it doesn't matter, is it? A green. Smooth. Now, you can also see, because I am yet to get to the point where I've got more effects than I have switches here, it's automatically giving me the option to just turn individual things off.
I see.
Once I get to the point, if I had more effects than I had switches, there's obviously a menu mode to say, well, which ones do you want to be able to switch on and off? And I can go and reorder them and change colors. So if I didn't want overdrive to be yellow, etc., etc. But I can turn literally everything on and off if I want to. So that's how simple it is to put something together. So let's get back out into our basic rig mode. I don't want to save this, so let's just so I don't want to save that, so we'll get out of this and we're back to the normal presets. One of the things that I really again also liked about the way you can assign the foot switches here, so we've gone back to using preset 1. Preset 1 is one rig, so we're not loading a different rig in. So imagine a rig being a different combination of pedals. But I can assign, I don't actually know what HeadRush call these. I think other brands call them scenes. But I've got one scene set up for my rhythm mode, which will have certain pedals on and off. And I've got another scene set up for my lead mode. And you can see immediately from the graphic that a load of effects are kicked on with one switch. And then in fact, I've got 2 lead modes as well. So again, this is probably one of the deep dive manual bits that I haven't got into. My guess is obviously you can assign as many different scenes as you want to, or you can elect to just start going, no, I just want to be able to turn individual pedals on and off. And again, provided you don't run out of switches, you can do all of that.
That'd be like having a D2 or D3 system, and you've got, when you click that one, it'll put those pedals on.
Exactly.
I like it. I like it.
So that's our basic kind of run through a simple patch. Perhaps when we get to the end of this, we'll do the last, another 10 patches or whatever like that, because I kind of feel like, they've done a good job of getting the sounds right. Let's go back into this master menu mode. Here's kind of everything that we can do. So it's, my rigs was where we were before. You've got this option of set lists and song views. Just think of that as master folders for where you want to put your rigs. So if you're, if you're in multiple bands or you want a different rig for each song, you can do it like that. The practice tool is very cool. We're going to show you that as well. That's about importing music into HeadRush and then being able to manipulate the pitch and the speed of that music.
That's very cool, like a solo or something,
Tuner, metronome, obvious. Looper we're going to do. HeadRush Cloud is the sharing element of it. Firmware updates, USB transfers, etc., etc. Amp cloner is the profiling. We are going to clone an amplifier. You'll see that. I'm not sure what mic dry out does. I'm guessing, got some EQs for a dry microphone output. Global EQ, pretty obvious, right? So that will affect every single preset. You've got different EQ settings depending on whether you're using the XLR outputs or the 1/4-inch outputs. And then global settings is where you'll find everything to do with LCD brightness and Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and blah, 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 blah. So I said we would do the looper next. So now, obviously, looper you can access from your rig. provided you've assigned one of the pedals to be the looper, which by default they all appear to be. So we hit the looper button.
Easy. You
get a screen now that is very much looks like a looper. If you're familiar with looping, you're going to recognize, things like record is your main button. So do you want to count me in?
Yeah.
At this point, I've got the option to, whilst the loop is playing, exit the loop, go back to the rig mode and change my pedal setup. So, cool. That's dead easy to do. You can see if I just press exit, we go back here. Maybe I want to go to a lead sound now, back into the looper.
You got all of the good things.
Yeah, I don't know what have I got going on here. Loads of stuff. Maybe you want to do some overdubs, which I mean, to be honest, this is pretty standard looper functionality. Peel is the undo mode. There's a mute option. Don't know why you'd want to do that. You can do all the usual silly stuff like reverse the loops. You can manipulate the length of your loop and the speed of your loop as well. So it's not the same as the big HeadRush looper board where you've got multiple tracks and different outputs and stuff like that. Just imagine having like a really good single loop pedal built
with all the functions right there. Yeah.
I guess what's really cool about this is how easy it is to go back into rig mode whilst the loop's still going on. I didn't actually demo that, did I? think so. I'll leave the loop running, back into loop mode, choose a different sound. So that's its looper mode. Again, really, really easy to see on that. We like that. Okay, it's kind of similar, I guess, to the looper mode, but this is practice tool. Okay, you can see now there's like a file, it's saying, give me a song here.
Give it to me.
In all fairness, this USB card, the stick that's been plugged in the back of the HeadRush, the whole thing, that's from when Pete and I were playing around before. Pete's got some tracks on this USB stick. So we basically go, no, you're right. That's right. We're in here. Then we go, hey girl is one. So hit that, import that as a loop. Oh, as a loop, as a track.
Okay,
as an import. Oh, I see. So that's how you would also pull import response in as well.
As a track?
As a track. So it's importing that
screen,
now.
I know.
Okay, so that's imported. So jumping over to the internal thing, find the practice tools folder. There it is. Okay, so let's load that in. You'll actually, there you go, there it is. Now, so Pete will now play, we're probably on a slightly inappropriate.
Yeah, maybe we did a little bit of a.
Let's come out of here. Let's just choose a slightly different rig.
I think just a little bit less gain.
Almost clean. We've got,
Okay.
Right, so we're back into here. We've got this, tells you at the top, we've got the almost clean preset loaded up. You know what I could have done? I'd always forget, this is how intuitive the top, I could just literally have done that and changed it from there. But sometimes this, it's like iPhones, they get too intuitive for your own good, don't they? Anyway,
depends on what age you are as well, isn't it?
Let's just turn the volume up here.
There, right? Oh, this is there,
or
switch.
There, or here, you're right. And there's Pete playing over the top. Now, imagine Pete has got to a really complicated bit.
Same key.
So the stuff I like about this is you can alter the speed without altering the pitch.
Yeah.
You can alter the pitch without altering the speed. So again, if you're jamming along to like a Jimi Hendrix tune and your guitar's tuned to E, but it's recorded in E flat, you can just change the pitch.
Yeah.
And you can do these. So this loop in, loop out is a little bit misleading. This is not.
It's not beginning.
It's not a looper bit. It's about going. There's a part. I don't want to listen to all 2 minutes of the track every single time.
Yeah.
I'm just interested in. I'll show you how that works. So we just want to learn this bit. So we want to learn from this bit to this bit, and that's it. It'll just. Right, so that is
cool, isn't
the practice tool. Really,
and
really like that.
Can you slow that down then? So let's say this is a bit where.
Or the loop.
So that's the solo bit you want to learn, right?
I think that's cool. Now, I think, but again, I don't know how it works with the practice tool here. As far as I understand, you can stream via Bluetooth your music into this. But I don't know whether or not in real time that you'll be able to do sort of loops and stuff.
Well, you can Bluetooth it into it.
You can definitely stream music via Bluetooth. I don't know whether or not. I think in order for all the tools like the pitch and speed and loop thing to work, you have to import it rather than streamed it. But anyway, practice tool
super clever.
is very, very cool.
I'll just use it at jam tracks. You know, easy peasy. That's a way to do it. Anyway.
My next note now is to show you how the amp cloner works. Okay, so we're going to have to click our fingers and rewire some things up. But we're going to clone a fat, juicy overdrive sound from the Friedman Little Sister. And yes, we're going to click our fingers and everything will be plugged in and I'll show you what we've done. Actually, I've changed my mind. What I like, again, so much about this is when I press the amp cloner thing, it actually gives you the quick, like, this is what you need to plug in here. This is what every time you do it. So it's like, it's really actually worth you seeing this.
Yeah.
So first thing it's saying, of course, is do not take a guitar amplifier and plug the speaker output straight into the HeadRush to try and profile it. You will blow multiple things up.
Yeah.
So
read the instructions.
Before I press this next button, what we have done is we've got a big fat sort of, juicy gain sound out of the Friedman Little Sister, and we've just stuck an SM57 in front of it. It's the 57 that we're actually going to profile, if you like. It's the sound of this amplifier through that cabinet with a single 57. If you're into your whole profiling thing, you will know that people will go mad with how they're going to mic stuff up, multiple mics, all that kind of stuff. And of course, just like all of the other products that do this sort of thing, there'll be a big online community of people sharing patches, maybe selling them. I don't know how that's going to work on HeadRush yet. But yeah, that's what we're profiling. We're profiling this head into this cab with a 57 on the front of it. This is what it sounds like, just the mic straight into the interface. Cool.
Glorious.
And you've got to remember, turn your reverb off and everything like that, because turn all your pedals off into it. Well, I tell a lie. You could profile this with drive pedals into it, but yeah, turn off don't use chorus pedals, stuff like that. You just want dry amp sound. Go.
Dry.
Proceed. So first thing it says is, are you doing an amp and a cab? Are you just doing an amp on its own, in which case you'd need some sort of line out from the amplifier, or you'd need to be using a load box, or are you doing a pedal? Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, you can do pedals with this as well.
Like the QC.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, we would like to just do amp and cab.
Yes.
So it now gives me basically connect your guitar to the HeadRush's guitar input.
There is even a diagram for it.
There is a diagram.
Yes, I like a diagram.
Oh, yeah, look, I'll press that button. Look, connection diagram for those of you that can't read. That's basically most of us.
That's me, definitely.
Position the microphone in front of your amplifier, which we've already done.
There.
Okay, connect your HeadRush. Connect your headphones to the HeadRush output, or connect an FR speaker via the XLRs. Now we're going to just leave this plugged into the desk. It doesn't matter for the time being. Turn the HeadRush's mic gain knob to adjust the input level. We need to get to about minus 6 dB.
So I need to play a bit.
Yeah, chug away.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Next, set the controls below to match the current setting on your amp or preamp. Okay, I understand now. So that's what have we got?
A little bit more bass,
in.
A little bit more treble.
So we say bass was at like 60% or something. Treble's tiny, maybe not as much as that, 50. whatever. We don't have to be exact here, do we?
No presents, so that's just...
Okay.
Presents are all the way off. There's no presents on there. We just put
50% should be equal, shouldn't it? So start clone. Here we go. Those of you that remember watching 10-year-old Kemper videos, you probably recognise some of this. Bosh. Now it's doing whatever it does. Cleverness, cloning.
Clever cloning.
Okay. Right. So now, again, I don't recall. I do remember on the Kemper there was this sort of, you played a bit more and it kind of gradually sort of learnt your nuances of your amp. This isn't really doing this. What you're doing is you're switching between the amp clone and the target amp, and in the controls section here you can adjust EQ and a couple of other parameters called chug and sag, my two favourite Disney characters. But it's kind of like, Pete has just rightly said that in order for you to be able to hear the target amplifier and the amp clone on this particular YouTube video, I do need to disconnect the mic cable from here and plug it back into our stage box.
So that's on the same place as the...
We're only doing this for the purposes of recording a YouTube video, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't need to do this during a normal clone. No. So here is our target amp. And here is the clone of that amplifier. Obviously, again, we're hearing the target amp through the cab. We're hearing the clone of the amplifier through some speakers. So again, just fiddle around to get it till you want it. You know, again, I sort of feel that there's perhaps a thickness. Again, might be the speakers. This is always the challenge, I think, when you're doing profiles and stuff. You know, you've got real amps in rooms versus clones of amplifiers through studio monitors and stuff. But I think that's
you really
pretty close,
should have this in a separate room.
Yeah, it'd be better if
so you have the mics in here and AB.
Or we were using this into a load box or something.
Yes.
So, anyway.
Absolutely.
You could spend weeks and weeks doing that if you wanted to.
I'd still, there is something to say about a cabinet in the room that pushes some air. Yeah. Flapping my trousers around.
As a lot of people tell us, you don't have to use these devices into studio monitors. If you want to use these devices into the effects return of a head into a normal cabinet, or you want to use like a Seymour Duncan power stage into a 4x12 or whatever, you can do all of that, and you would just adjust the settings on here to taste, and perhaps you'd remove the cabinet emulation if you were actually using real guitar cabs, all that kind of stuff. But I think for us, the cleanest way for us to show you what this sounds like is to just go straight into our interface.
Well, that in my opinion, then you got all of this stuff to take with you anyway.
Yeah. So what I need to now just quickly show you, if I go back to my rig, is that if I wanted to, I could change the amplifier that's on this or I could just create a new rig. I can go amp. I want an amp clone. You can see there are 3 folders here. The bottom one is obscured because I wrote something inappropriate there. So actually, we've got the Little Sister gain was from a trial run that we were doing. So this Little Sister one here is the one that we want to use. And now if I go back to my rig, you'll see we've replaced the amp that was in there with the Little Sister one. Thought to myself, of course, because we've captured an amp and a cab, obviously I just needed to remove the cab
of course,
emulation.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah, and of course, again, you now decide what pedals do you want to put before or after. We've not done that ourselves. I was talking to one of the engineers before who was saying that although it claims to be able to do fuzz pedals, there are a couple of exceptions there. So fuzzes that have like that gated fuzz sound, it can't cope with. It can't cope with the gated element of the profiling. Yeah. Or the what do they call it again? Sorry, cloning. And the other thing they were saying is that some vintage fuzz pedals are just super sensitive to the input level that you put into them in a way that more modern drive pedals are. Yeah. And that actually you might want to use a reamp box and adjust the sensitivity of the output from the HeadRush going into the pedal.
You might as well use the pedals that are in the thing.
I think you might be,
in my opinion,
going through the cloud and seeing what you can find. But anyway, that was cloning, easy peasy, and sounded pretty good to me.
Yeah.
As promised, here's 5 more presets. This one, actually, we can show you how the wah-wah works.
Do it. Probably play the right thing for that, but...
Should be an owner of a lonely heart or something.
Sorry.
Instant drop. Oh, I see. I know why. Okay, here we go. I think the last part of our demo now will be to just show you what happens if you plug the mic in. I know this is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Absolutely.
Because, clearly, Pete is going to do some sort of...
With my cold today.
Vox Minigo inspired mega loop here.
Do you think so?
But the first thing I've got to do while Pete's setting up is choose one of the set lists that is designed for guitar and vocals. Whilst we're on here as well, bass as well. So guitar and vocals. Don't want to save my old rig. So now you can see from here that we've got the top row of effects are the effects that's going to apply to the microphone, because there's your little microphone doodah there, and the bottom row of effects is going to be what the guitar is affected by. If I go back to where you remember this signal path screen, you can see that actually you have also got the option to dedicate all 8 slots to just the microphone, or what we're using is this one where half of it's for microphones and half of it's for the guitar. So, yes,
I mean, this part of it here, is it a bit niche? Is it?
Well, I guess...
I know there's a lot of processors that you can do both, like some of the TC Helicon stuff, but...
Well, I think, in fairness, looper board... Big looper board was absolutely geared up to have multiple people playing into the unit at the same time.
And it's got 4 mic inputs as well on the big
So
big
I
thing.
kind of feel like this is very much for the artist that plays guitar and sings. Probably more, maybe less so in a band situation, maybe in a band situation, but I'm probably thinking more as a solo artist.
Yeah, so you put in your backing track there, and then you play guitar on it, and you sing on top of it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's true.
here we go. So
that's completely true.
Now, what we have got on here are, you know what we haven't got on here, Pete? I don't want distortion.
Why
I'm
not?
going to lose distortion. You know why not?
What if I wanted to do Lenny Kravitz song?
Well, you could put it back in. What we wanted, of course, was the Antares. Where's my microphone stuff? I'm going mad here. Vocals. Auto-tune. And which one was it? Was it hip-hop that
do
you
you believe in love after love?
Which one was it, though? Heavy tuning?
Heavy tuning.
Heavy tuning.
Heavy tuning.
I think
do you believe...
I think, to be totally honest with you, there's no more explanation now of what we're going to do. You simply just have to take my word for it that any auto-tune effect that you're hearing, any harmony that you're hearing, whatever, is coming from here. We've got vocal doublers, we've got all the reverbs, everything's coming from here, and of course the guitar as well. So I think to end this demo, I'm just going to tell you that HeadRush Prime is out now. So the day this video goes out is the day it's being launched. I believe they're in stock now.
Yeah.
And I believe, although again, prices...
Do you believe in love after love?
Yes. This is just what I've been told today. I believe this is 999 of your fine English pounds, including VAT.
So less than a Kemper, less than a QC.
Less than a QC, less than a Kemper, depending on the day of the week,
Helix.
less than a Helix.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll be honest with you, it's less than, the big Helix has been more than £1,000 for a while now.
Has it?
There is obviously the LT version of the Helix,
yeah.
which is probably more in this. So I've got to be honest with you again, bang for your buck, plenty.
You do get
we
bang
didn't
for
even
your
talk
buck.
about expression pedals. I mean,
wow,
there's too much in these things to go through.
It's a solid piece of kit, man.
That might be a criticism. We both picked it up and went, oh, it's pretty heavy, isn't it?
It's a bit heavy,
I
isn't
mean,
it?
relative to taking a guitar around, it probably
Is
isn't.
it?
But it's
big though.
It's pretty big.
I mean, you have like 1x12 and a you know, I always gonna say, I'll take a 112 and a.
Yeah. Anyway,
whatever.
Thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Maestro, please, would you create a masterful loop for
Something
us?
from Trolls, right? Do you want something from Trolls?
Ed Sheeran.
next year and hey, hey.